It was past midnight when my phone buzzed on the table. I was half asleep, the TV still playing some late-night talk show I wasn't listening to. I reached over lazily, expecting a message from work. Instead, I saw her name. Clara. For a second, I thought I was dreaming. My thumb hovered above the screen. 5 years of silence, and now this? I told myself to let it ring out, to stay strong, to pretend it didn't matter. But curiosity is a cruel thing. I pressed accept. Hello? My voice came out rough, unsure. There was a pause, long, shaky breathing. Then, Ethan, it's me. I closed my eyes. I know. I shouldn't be calling. You shouldn't, I said, keeping my tone flat. Yet here you are, she laughed weakly. You sound different. Time does that, I replied. What do you want, Clara? I heard something today, she said, voice trembling. Ryan, he works for you now, doesn't he? I leaned back in my chair. The room felt smaller. So that's why you called. I just needed to know if it's true. It is. She went quiet again. I could hear her breathing, fast and uneven. I didn't think this day would come. Neither did I said. But life has a strange sense of humor. Ethan, I didn't mean for things to... Don't. My words came sharper than I wanted. Don't rewrite history. You made your choice. I know I did, she whispered. But still hearing his name next to yours, it feels wrong. Wrong? I laughed quietly. You married him. You built a life with him. That was your right, remember? That life isn't what I thought it would be, she said. He's not the man I thought he was. Neither am I, she hesitated. You sound angry. I'm not angry, I said softly. Just awake. There was silence again. My reflection stared back at me from the dark window, older, harder, a stranger to who I used to be. Ethan, she said, I wanted to apologize. For what? The betrayal? The lies? Or the part where you left without a word? All of it, she whispered. You didn't deserve what happened. You're right, I said. I didn't, she breathed in shakily. You hate me. No, I said after a pause. Hate takes effort. I stopped wasting effort years ago. She didn't respond. Only her soft sobs came through the line. I sat still, letting the sound fill the room. Why now, Clara? I asked. Why tonight? I don't know, she said. I saw something today. Ryan came home angry, saying he lost an investor. Someone powerful took over his old company. He mentioned your name, and I realized it was you. So you called out of guilt. No, she said quickly. I called because I needed to hear your voice. I laughed again, bitterly this time. And what did you expect? That I'd tell you I missed you? I hoped you might still care. That's the thing, Clara, I said, standing up. You never cared about what I felt. You cared about what I could give. Now that he's failing, you're remembering what you lost. That's not fair, she said, her tone rising. You don't know what my life has been. I don't need to. I know what mine became because of you. She exhaled shakily. You sound cold. I learned from the best. She stayed quiet. The silence stretched until it felt heavy enough to break. Ethan, she whispered. I made mistakes. I was scared. You were always calm, too calm. Ryan made me feel alive. And now? Now I just feel tired. I looked at the clock. 12:47 a.m. The hum of the fridge was louder than her breathing. Then get some sleep. I can't, she said. Not when I know you're still out there, doing better without me. That's not your burden to carry. I see your name in the news sometimes, she said softly. The company you built, it's everything you dreamed of. Dreams come true when people stop breaking them, I said. Do you ever think about me? She asked, almost whispering. Only when I forget not to. Her breath caught. You're cruel. No, I said. I'm honest. I wish I could undo what I did. You can't. I know. The quiet that followed wasn't peaceful. It was raw, like a wound reopening. I could hear her crying again quietly, as if she didn't want me to know. Clara, I said finally, whatever you're looking for, it's not here anymore. Maybe not, she said, her voice breaking, but hearing you, it's the only thing that feels real lately. I almost said something kind, something forgiving, but I stopped myself. That version of me was long gone. I have to go, I said. Ethan, please. Good night, Clara. Wait, she said quickly. Are you going to fire him? I froze. Ryan? Yes, I let out a quiet laugh. No, I don't need to. Life's already doing the job for me. She didn't respond after that, only breathing soft and fading until the line went dead. I placed the phone down slowly, staring at the black screen. My reflection blinked back at me, older, colder, quieter. I should have felt triumph. Instead, all I felt was the echo of a voice I once called home. And for the first time in 5 years, I realized something strange. Karma had started working long before I ever answered that call. Ryan stood across from my desk, pretending confidence. I could see the sweat beneath his collar. It's been a while, Ethan, he said, forcing a smile. 5 years, I replied. You've aged, he laughed awkwardly. Guess life does that to all of us. Some more than others, I said. Sit down. He sat, eyes darting across the office, my office. The glass walls, the skyline, the nameplate on the table that read Ethan Hale, CEO. His throat bobbed as he swallowed. I didn't know you owned the company, he said. Neither did you know how to keep one, I replied calmly. Your reputation got here before you. He shifted uncomfortably. I just want a chance to start over. Clara said, Don't, I interrupted. Don't bring her name here. He fell silent, eyes lowering to the table. For a moment, I saw the man I once called a brother. Back then, he was the dreamer, I was the realist. We built ideas together, stayed up all night planning futures neither of us could afford. I shared everything with him, my work, my trust, even my home. I didn't plan for things to go that way, he said quietly. You mean stealing my wife? Or my peace? I asked. He looked up, guilt written all over him. You know it wasn't like that. Then tell me how it was. He sighed. Clara, she said she felt lonely. You were always working. You comforted her, I said. Right, I remember. It wasn't supposed to happen. One day it just did, I smiled faintly. You make betrayal sound accidental. He frowned. Ethan, you've got everything now. I've lost enough. Not everything, I said. Some things can't be rebuilt, he hesitated. Are you going to fire me? Why would I? I leaned back. Watching you work for me seems like a better punishment. He froze. You're serious. Completely. He exhaled, trying to hide his nerves. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I looked straight at him. Enjoyment isn't the word. Satisfaction, maybe. The silence between us stretched. I could almost hear the echo of laughter from years ago. Clara's laughter, his, mine, now ghosts in the same room. You're not the same Ethan I knew, Ryan said finally. I learned, I replied. Pain's a great teacher, he nodded slowly. Then maybe I deserve this. Maybe, I said. Or maybe this is just life finishing what it started. He stood up, trying to reclaim some pride. I'll do my job. I won't ask for favors. I don't give them, I said, but I expect results. He turned to leave and I added, Tell Clara she doesn't need to call again. He stopped. She called you? I didn't answer. He stared for a moment, then left without another word. The door closed softly, but the noise stayed in my head like a heartbeat. I sat back and stared at the city lights. My reflection looked foreign, hard eyes, tired mouth. Somewhere beneath that steel, I still remembered the day everything broke. Ethan, meet Ryan Carter, Jacob said years ago, clapping his hand on Ryan's shoulder. Guy's brilliant with numbers. Ryan grinned. More like broke with ambition, I laughed. We've all been there. Come by the office tomorrow. I'll show you what we're working on. That was the start. Ryan joined the company as a junior analyst, hungry to prove himself. He was quick, too quick. He learned fast, smiled easily, and made people like him, including Clara. One night at a dinner party, I caught the way they looked at each other. A brief flicker, but enough to make something in me turn cold. After the guests left, Clara said, He's charming, isn't he? Too charming, I said. She smiled. You're jealous. Should I be? She walked past me. Only if you still care. That was the last real conversation we had before everything fell apart. The office door opened again. Jacob stepped in. You okay? He asked. Define okay? He smirked. So the infamous Ryan Carter showed up. Yep, different suit, same soul. Jacob leaned on the table. You could have thrown him out. I could have, I said, but why waste the moment? He chuckled. You're colder than before. Colder keeps the fire from burning twice. He nodded, then frowned. You're not planning something stupid, right? Like revenge? Yeah, I smiled slightly. Revenge is Patience wearing a suit. He raised an eyebrow. That's poetic and scary. Good, it should be. He studied me for a moment. You sure you're not still in love with her? Love doesn't survive betrayal, I said. It mutates, he sighed. Just don't lose yourself again. I already did, I murmured. Now I'm just managing the damage, Jacob left quietly. The city lights flickered through the glass, painting lines across my hands. I stared at them, remembering the man I used to be, the one who believed loyalty was enough. Now Ryan worked for me. Clara was a ghost that called at night, and me? I was the man left holding both the ruin and the throne. Maybe that's what fate does. It breaks you first, then crowns what's left. Ryan stood in front of my desk, a stack of reports trembling in his hands. The quarterly numbers, they're lower than expected, he said. His voice cracked halfway through the sentence. The new clients pulled out last minute. I leaned back, watching him fumble with his papers. And whose fault is that? I take full responsibility, he said quickly. The transition plan wasn't ready and… Stop. I raised a hand. Don't sell excuses as explanations, he nodded, eyes down. I'm trying, Ethan, I really am. Trying doesn't pay salaries, I said. What's your plan? He hesitated, flipping pages. If we cut unnecessary spending and extend the vendor deadlines, you're still talking like a man with options, I interrupted. We're bleeding money, Ryan. You either fix it or you'll have to explain to the board why their trust was misplaced. I understand, he said, his face pale. It won't happen again. It already did, I said softly. Twice, he froze. I stood, walked around the desk, and stopped beside him. Do you know what the hardest part of failure is? He shook his head. It's pretending you didn't see it coming. His eyes flickered toward mine, guilt heavy in his stare. I know you want to see me fall, I smiled faintly. Not fall, learn, he nodded stiffly. Then let me learn. I will, I said. By giving you more responsibility, he blinked. Wait, what? You'll oversee the next project launch. Every report, every deal, every number, your name will be on it. His confusion broke through his fear. You're giving me control? After this mess? Yes, I said. That's how trust works here. It's either complete or non-existent. He looked uncertain. You're testing me. I'm giving you rope, I said. What you do with it decides whether it becomes a lifeline or a noose. He swallowed hard. You're cruel. No, I said. Just consistent. He stared at me for a long moment before gathering the reports and leaving. The door closed behind him with a sound too soft for the weight it carried. I sat down again, exhaling slowly. My pulse hadn't slowed since he walked in. I should have fired him. It would have been simple, final. But watching him squirm was better. Revenge wasn't about destruction, it was about duration. Rough day? A voice asked. I looked up to see Lena leaning against the doorframe, tablet in hand. She was sharp, composed, always a step ahead. Define rough, I said. She smiled slightly. The kind that makes you drink early. I quit drinking. She raised an eyebrow. So you're handling it with sarcasm instead. It's cheaper, I said. She walked closer, dropped a file on my desk. Here's the client brief you asked for. And for the record, I think giving Ryan more work is brilliant. Brilliant or cruel. Both, she said. He'll either drown or prove he's still worth something. I doubt the latter, I said. He's a man running from consequences. Lena crossed her arms. And you're the man handing him the map, I smirked. Someone has to, she hesitated. You know, people change. Not him, I said. And not me, she studied me for a second. You sound like you're still angry. I'm not angry, I said. I'm observant, she nodded slowly. Just don't let observation turn into obsession. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. The name on the screen made my throat tighten. Clara. Lena noticed and turned away. I'll finish the client summary, she said, walking out. I waited until the door closed, then picked up the call. What do you want, Clara? Her voice came soft, hesitant. I wanted to apologize. You already did, I said. It didn't change anything then either. I mean it this time. I'm sure you do, I said. But sincerity doesn't rewrite history. Ethan, please. I'm not calling to argue. Then why are you calling? She paused. I saw Ryan today. He looked broken. I can tell things aren't good between you. That's none of your concern. He's still my husband. And you're still the reason I became his boss, I said flatly. She sighed. You think I planned that? No, I said. I think karma did. Her breath hitched. You're enjoying this. Not as much as you think. Then stop it, she said. Don't ruin him. Clara, I said quietly. He ruined himself the day he shook my hand. Why can't you just let it go? She asked. Because you did, I said. And look how that turned out. She went silent. Only the faint sound of her breathing filled the line. I miss who you were, she whispered. You used to be kind. I used to be married, I said. Things change. Ethan, enough, I said. I don't want your apologies. Then what do you want? To stop hearing your voice, I lied. She hesitated. You don't mean that. I do, I said. Because every time you call, I remember what silence used to cost me. Her voice broke. I'm sorry. I know, I said, staring at the city lights outside my window. We'll talk when I'm ready. Will you ever be? She whispered. I didn't answer. I ended the call and placed the phone face down. For a long moment, I just sat there, listening to the hum of the air conditioner, the sound of my own heartbeat. The office was too quiet, so quiet that my thoughts had their own voice. You'll never be ready, it whispered. You don't want to be. I leaned back, closed my eyes, and let the silence say everything I couldn't. The knock came just after sunset, 3 soft taps that didn't belong to anyone from work. I opened the door and froze. Hi, Clara said. Her smile was fragile, like something borrowed from the past. I didn't answer. I just stared. She looked older, shadows under her eyes, a line at the corner of her mouth that didn't used to be there. Can I come in? She asked. I don't remember inviting you. I know. I needed to talk. I stepped aside without a word. She walked in slowly, scanning the apartment like she was walking through an old photograph. You've changed everything, she said. It used to smell like coffee and paint in here. It smells like work now. She turned toward me. You always loved working. You always hated that. Her smile twitched. I hated being second to a dream, and I hated realizing I married one. She flinched, but didn't argue. You're still cruel. No, I said. Just honest. What do you want, Clara? She sighed and sat down on the couch. Ryan's struggling. I know. You knew? I read reports. The man's his own storm, her voice cracked. He's in debt, Ethan. He's losing control. He drinks. He yells. He breaks things. I leaned against the wall. Sounds familiar. She looked up sharply. Don't do that. Do what? Turn everything into a weapon. I folded my arms. You came here for pity or forgiveness? Neither, she said. Just a place to breathe. I stayed quiet. She looked around again, touching the arm of the sofa like it might remember her. You were always calm, she said. Even when I told you I was leaving, you didn't shout. I was already broken, I said. Noise wouldn't have helped. I thought I'd be happier, she whispered. With Ryan, I mean. You thought wrong, she smiled weakly. You don't even try to comfort me. I'm not your comfort anymore. She stared at the floor. I shouldn't have come. Then why did you? Because I couldn't sleep. Because I keep thinking about everything we were and everything we lost. I walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. We didn't lose it, Clara. You threw it away. Her voice trembled. I regret it. You regret the outcome, not the choice. She stood up suddenly. You think I haven't suffered? I don't think about your suffering at all, I said. Tears filled her eyes. You used to love me. I did, I said quietly. And that's the part that still hurts. She took a step closer. Ethan, please, just tell me you don't hate me. I don't hate you, I said. I hate what you turned love into. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then she said softly, He's nothing like you. That's why you chose him. She shook her head. No, that's why I miss you. Her words hit somewhere deep where I didn't want them to. Don't do that. What? Dig up ghosts you buried, she exhaled shakily. I saw Elijah today. Your son? Our son, she corrected. At least that's what Ryan calls him when he's sober. I turned, meeting her eyes. You want me to feel something? I just wanted you to know, she said. He looks like you. That's cruel, I said. It's true. I looked away. Truth doesn't make it less cruel. She took another step toward me. I still wear this ring because I don't know how to stop pretending. I glanced at her hand. The gold band caught the light. You didn't come here for closure, I said. You came for comfort. She blinked, speechless. I can't give that to you, I said. Not anymore. Her voice broke. Then what's left between us? Silence, I said. That's all that ever worked. She bit her lip, trying not to cry. You've really changed. No, I said. You just never saw who I was until you left. She wiped her tears and turned toward the door. Ryan says you're waiting for him to fail. I don't have to wait, I said. He's already doing it. She stopped at the door. Do you ever forgive, Ethan? Sometimes, I said. When there's something left to forgive, she nodded slowly, opening the door. I'm sorry you became this. I'm sorry you didn't see it sooner, I replied. The door closed softly. I stood there staring at the empty room. Her perfume lingered, sweet, faint, haunting. For a moment I almost called her back. But then I saw the faint mark her ring left on the glass door handle, and I understood. She didn't come seeking forgiveness. She came because guilt gets lonely. I sat on the couch, her voice still echoing in my head. I thought of the woman she used to be, the man I used to be, and the silence that grew between them. It wasn't love that haunted me. It was the memory of believing it would last. Ryan stood in my office again, hands clenched like a man on trial. Ethan, I need another chance, he said. Please, just one more. I leaned back in my chair. You already had one, I know. I messed up, but this time I can fix it. I've got a plan. New leads, better projections, fresh clients. I just need time. Time's expensive, I said. And you've already cost me enough. He swallowed hard. I'll work nights, weekends, whatever it takes. I can prove myself. Why? I asked. You don't owe me. You owe yourself, he hesitated. Maybe both, I studied him. The man who once took everything from me now stood begging under fluorescent light. There was satisfaction in that, but also something darker. You'll report directly to me, I said. Every decision, every failure, every number, my desk first. His eyes widened. Directly to you? Yes, I said. You wanted responsibility. Now you'll choke on it, he nodded slowly. If that's what it takes. Good, I said. Let's see how far desperation gets you. He turned to leave, then paused. Ethan, thank you. Don't thank me, I said. Earn it. When he left, I exhaled. The air felt heavy, like power always does when it's freshly drawn. A knock came at the door. Jacob walked in, 2 coffees in hand. I saw Ryan leaving, he said. Looked like a man heading to his own funeral. He might be, I said, taking the cup. You gave him another chance? I gave him a leash, I said. He'll either walk or hang himself with it. Jacob shook his head. You sound more like Dad every day. I'll take that as a compliment. It's not, he said. You're playing with fire again. I sipped my coffee. Sometimes fire's the only thing that keeps you warm, he sighed. And sometimes it burns everything else. I looked at him. You think I'm going too far? I think you're enjoying this too much. Maybe I am, I admitted. After everything he did, watching him crawl feels right. Revenge doesn't heal, Jacob said quietly. It just distracts you from the wound. Then let me be distracted, he smirked. At least you're honest about it. I nodded toward the door. Go home, Jacob. Some of us still have ghosts to manage. He hesitated, then said, just don't let those ghosts own you. When he left, the silence felt like a second shadow. Hours later, my phone buzzed. Clara again. I ignored it at first, but she called again and again. By the 4th ring, I gave in. Drunk or desperate? I asked. She laughed softly. A bit of both. It's late. It's always late with us, she said. I couldn't sleep. You should try guilt. It's exhausting. Don't be cruel. I'm consistent, I said. What do you want? She hesitated. I heard about Ryan. You're making him report to you? You talk to him? Barely. He's angry all the time now. He says you're trying to destroy him. Maybe I'm just helping him see what he built. Ethan, this isn't you. Then who am I? The man who once forgave people. That man died, I said. I don't believe that. You don't have to. There was silence, Then her voice softened. I made mistakes, Ethan, but what you're doing now, it's not justice. No, I said. It's balance. Balance doesn't come from someone else's suffering. It does when it's earned. She sighed. You sound cold. I learned from the best. She let out a shaky laugh. You hate me, don't you? I wish I did, I said. It'd make this easier. Then why answer my calls? Because part of me still wonders if you meant any of it. Meant what? When you said you loved me, her voice broke. I did love you. You loved what I gave you, I said. Not me. That's not true. Then why did you leave? I was scared. Of what? Of never being enough for you, I exhaled. And now? Now I'm nothing, she whispered. I didn't answer. Her breathing filled the silence again. Ethan, she said quietly. If I asked to see you, would you say no? Yes, I said. But I'd still think about it, she chuckled through her tears. You're cruel when you're honest. Then stop calling. Save yourself. I can't, she said. You're the only thing that still feels real. Her words dug deep, but I didn't show it. Then maybe that's the problem. What do you mean? You keep chasing what's already gone. She went quiet. I could almost picture her, wine glass in hand, mascara smudged, searching for closure in old wounds. Good night, Clara, I said. Ethan, don't, I said. Before you say something you'll regret, she sighed. You always knew when to end things. I ended the call. The silence afterward felt heavier than the conversation. The next morning, I met Mr. Bennett in the boardroom. He was one of the few people whose opinion still mattered to me. You look tired, he said. Maybe I am, I replied. I heard you took Ryan under your wing again. Under my boot, more like, he frowned. Ethan, I've known you long enough to recognize the look in your eyes. You're not leading him, you're punishing him. Maybe that's leadership now. He shook his head. No, that's pride pretending to be justice. I stared at him. You think I should forgive him? I think forgiveness is a kind of freedom, he said. You can't rebuild anything while holding a match to the ashes. I looked away. Maybe I don't want to rebuild, he sighed. Then you'll stay exactly where he left you. His words stayed with me long after he left. That night, alone in my office, I stared at Ryan's report stacked neatly on my desk. His failures were now my entertainment, his progress my control. Jacob's warning echoed in my head. You're feeding the fire you once escaped. Maybe he was right. But as I looked at Ryan's name printed under mine, I couldn't help it. The taste of power was too sweet to spit out. Ryan stood at the far end of the boardroom table, voice cracking as he stumbled through numbers that didn't make sense to anyone, not even him. Our Q3 projection was off, he said, flipping through papers. But the recovery plan is... There is no recovery, I cut in. You lost the investors, he looked at me helplessly. They'll come back once they see the next phase. They won't, I said. They've already moved on. The room was silent. Only the faint hum of the AC filled the air. The directors exchanged uneasy glances, waiting for me to end it. Ryan looked small, his suit hanging off his shoulders, his confidence gone. Ethan, please, he whispered. You know I didn't mean for this to happen. You mean like last time? I asked. His lips tightened. You're enjoying this. Enjoyment implies effort, I said. I'm just watching gravity work. The CFO cleared his throat. Mr. Hale, should we proceed with the dismissal? I held up a hand. No, Ryan stays. For now, everyone looked confused. Ryan most of all. You're keeping me? Yes, I said. Until the end. After the meeting, he followed me into my office. Why didn't you fire me? Because failure teaches better than pity, I said. And you still have more to learn. He dropped into a chair. You're punishing me. No, I said. I'm giving you the chance to feel what I felt. Power slipping through your fingers while the world pretends not to notice. He shook his head. You're not the man I knew. Neither are you. His voice rose. You think destroying me will fix what happened? No, I said quietly, but it will remind me that I can survive it. He stood abruptly, eyes red. You're sick. Probably, I said. But I'm functional. That's more than I can say for you. He stormed out. I didn't stop him. By evening, 2 more investors withdrew. The next day, one of our key clients canceled a contract. Each loss came with Ryan's signature at the bottom. Each document crossed my desk. Each time I signed it. No questions. No mercy. Lena stepped into my office with a stack of papers. "Another withdrawal," she said quietly. "Put it on his pile." She hesitated. "You know the board's watching you too, right?" "I'm aware." "You're letting him fall," she said. "Deliberately, yes. Why?" "Because he needs to understand the cost of betrayal." She set the papers down. "And what's the cost for you?" I looked at her. "Nothing I haven't already paid." She didn't argue. She just left, closing the door softly behind her. That night, my phone buzzed. Clara. Again. I almost ignored it, but something inside me wanted to hear her break. I answered. "Ethan," she said, her voice trembling. "Please." "You have to stop." "Stop what?" "You know what?" "Ryan's losing everything. He's drowning." "Then maybe he should have learned to swim." "Don't talk like that," she pleaded. "He's still your friend." "He was," I said. "But so was I." There was silence. Then she said softly, "You're not this person. I became this person because of you. He's paying for both of us." "No," I said. "You'll pay in ways you can't see." Her voice broke. "You sound proud of what you're doing." "I'm not proud," I said. "I'm just done pretending I'm the victim," she sniffled. "Please, Ethan, let him go. If you still have any part of your heart left." "Clara," I interrupted. "You're begging the wrong man," she sobbed quietly. "You're cruel." "Maybe," I said. "But I'm finally honest." When the call ended, I sat in silence, staring at my reflection in the glass wall. My face looked older, colder, but calm. I didn't feel victory. I didn't feel anything. The next morning, Lena told me Ryan wanted to see me. He came in without knocking. His eyes were bloodshot, his tie gone. "You win," he said. "This wasn't a game. It was to you," he said. "You could have stopped this. You let me drown. You built the ship," I said. "I just stopped patching the holes." He laughed bitterly. "You're proud of yourself, huh? Watching me lose everything?" "No," I said. "I just stopped losing." He sank into a chair. "I can't fix it. The board's voting me out." "I'm done," I nodded. "Then do the right thing." "What's that?" "Resign." He looked at me for a long time, then said, "You wanted this." "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe it was inevitable." He stood slowly, his voice breaking. "You've become something worse than me." "Maybe," I said again. "But I'm still standing." He walked toward the door, stopped once more, and turned. "For what it's worth, I did love her. I didn't plan to take her from you." "I know," I said. "You just couldn't help it." He nodded, eyes wet. "Neither could she." "Goodbye, Ryan." He opened the door, paused again. "You'll regret this someday." "I already do," I said quietly. The door closed and the silence returned. Hours later, Lena entered. "He's gone," she said. He turned in his resignation. I figured. "Do you want me to schedule a replacement?" "Not yet," I said. She hesitated. "You don't look happy." "I'm not," I admitted. "Then why do it?" "Because I needed to see it end." She nodded and left. I stared at his empty chair. The faint imprint on the leather, the coffee ring on the desk, the silence where his voice used to fill the air. It all felt like proof that revenge didn't taste like victory. It just tasted like nothing. I leaned back and closed my eyes. The world was quieter now. Too quiet. For the first time in years, I didn't know if I'd won or just finally stopped losing. The rain had been steady for hours when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, she was standing there, soaked, trembling, mascara streaking down her face. "Clara." She looked up, eyes wild. "You're home." "I live here," I said quietly. "What are you doing?" "I needed to see you." "You picked a storm for it." She laughed weakly. "Maybe I deserve the weather." I stepped aside. "Come in before you drown." She hesitated, then walked past me, leaving puddles on the floor. Her hands shook as she tried to wipe her face. "Tea, coffee, confession?" I asked. "Don't joke," she said. "Not tonight." "Then start talking." She turned to me, eyes burning. "You got what you wanted, didn't you?" I frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Ryan's ruined," she said, her voice cracking. "The company's gone. His name's Mud. He can't sleep, can't work, can't even look in a mirror without seeing you. I leaned against the counter. Sounds poetic. Don't, she snapped. Don't act like you don't care. I don't need to act. She took a step closer. You're lying. You wanted revenge, Ethan. You got it. So tell me, are you happy now? I looked at her, water dripping from her hair onto the floor. No, she blinked. Then why? Because it didn't change anything, I said. He fell, but I didn't rise. We just sank at different speeds. She stared at me, tears mixing with rain. You think that makes you noble? No, I said softly. It just makes me tired. Her lips trembled. I told him to apologize to you. That's not the kind of debt words can pay. He's broken, she whispered. You've won. Winning implies there's a game left, I said. There isn't. She moved closer again, her voice trembling. I thought seeing him fall would make me feel better too, but it didn't. I just feel empty. Now you know, I said. That's what betrayal tastes like. Her eyes glistened. I never stopped caring about you. Caring isn't the same as staying. I made a mistake. You made a choice. She looked away. You always talk like everything's a transaction. It became one the day you traded me for him. Her shoulders shook. You think I don't regret it? Regret doesn't rebuild, I said. She looked at me, voice breaking. Then what do you want from me? Nothing, I said. That's the peace I finally earned. She took a step closer, desperation in her eyes. You don't mean that. I do. She reached out suddenly, her fingers clutching my shirt. Then why am I still here, Ethan? Why can't I stop coming back? I didn't pull away. Because you hate silence. And I became silence. Her breathing hitched. Please just say something human. Not cold, not clever, just real, I stared at her. You hurt me, she nodded through tears. I know. You broke everything I believed in. I know. And I still don't know whether I hate you or miss you. She sobbed, collapsing into my chest. I'm sorry. Her body shook against mine. I froze for a second before my hands found her shoulders. For a brief moment, the world outside disappeared. The rain, the years, the ruin. It was just her heartbeat against mine, fast and uneven, like we were both afraid to breathe. I thought you stopped loving me, she whispered. I tried, I said. Every day. She looked up, eyes swollen. Did it work? I hesitated. Almost, she laughed bitterly, wiping her cheeks. Almost, that's us in a word. I said nothing. She walked to the window, watching the rain slide down the glass. He's been calling me, she said softly. Ryan, still clinging to what's left? He's drinking, angry. Sometimes I think he'll hurt himself. Then stop answering, I said. I can't. Why not? Because I feel responsible. You should, I said. She turned sharply. You don't mean that. Yes, I do, she stared at me, shaking. You're not the Ethan I knew. No, I said. You buried that version, she came closer again. I don't want this distance between us. It's not distance, I said. It's damage, she reached for my hand. I didn't move. Her fingers brushed mine, cold and trembling. Do you really hate me? She asked. I wish I did, I said. Hate is cleaner than this. Her tears fell again. Then what's this? Leftovers, I said quietly, of what could have been. She leaned forward, as if waiting for permission to fall apart. I didn't stop her. She broke again, sobbing, shaking, clutching my arms like the past could still be touched. I loved you, she whispered, even when I shouldn't have. And I loved you when I shouldn't have stopped, I said. We stood there, two ghosts pretending to be human for one more night. Then her phone buzzed on the table. The screen lit up, Ryan. Her eyes flicked to it, then to me. I should answer. I stared at the glowing screen. You always do, she bit her lip. He needs me. So did I said. Once, she turned away, shoulders shaking. Don't say that. Why not? It's true, her voice broke. Ethan, please don't make me choose again. You already did, I said, years ago. The silence after that was heavier than the rain outside. She stood by the door, still crying, still shaking. Goodbye, she whispered. I nodded. You'll call again. She hesitated, then walked out into the storm. When the door closed, the air felt hollow. The smell of rain and perfume lingered, familiar, haunting, I sat down, staring at her phone light still flashing through the glass before fading to black. Maybe I'd won. Maybe I'd lost. I couldn't tell anymore. All I knew was that she'd broken again, and this time I didn't even reach to catch her. It had been 3 weeks since Ryan's resignation. No one said his name anymore. His office sat empty, the blinds half drawn, like even the light didn't want to stay there. Lena walked in holding a folder. "Board signed off on the transition plan," she said. "You're officially in the clear." "Good," I said. "Endings should be clean," she hesitated. "He's gone, you know. Ryan. Packed up and left the city," I figured. "They said he didn't even take the severance. He never liked taking what wasn't his." She gave me a faint smile. "You really don't want to know where he went?" "No," I said. "Knowing would make it harder to forget," she nodded. "You seem calmer." Maybe I finally ran out of anger. She placed the folder on my desk. "Mr. Bennett wants to see you later." "About the reports?" "About you, I think," she said softly. "He's worried." "I'm fine," she tilted her head. "You keep saying that, because it's true," she sighed. "You keep building walls, Ethan. One day you'll run out of bricks. Then I'll start using silence." She smiled sadly. "You already do." After she left, I sat in the quiet, staring at Ryan's empty chair through the glass wall. The silence didn't bother me anymore. It felt earned. My phone buzzed, a message notification. I glanced at the screen. Clara Hale. "I hope you find peace, Ethan." I stared at it for a long moment, then deleted it. No hesitation, no second thought. Just gone. The next day, I drove to my brother's house. Jacob opened the door before I could knock. "Look who remembered he has family," he said, grinning. "I needed noise," I said. "You're good at providing it." "Wait till the kids get home," he said. "They've been asking about you." "I bet they forgot my name." "Only the little one," he said. "She calls you the serious uncle." I laughed quietly. "Accurate." We sat in the kitchen. He poured coffee, sliding a mug toward me. "You look lighter," he said. "Something happened?" "Ryan's gone. Clara filed for divorce," he whistled. "That chapter's finally closing." "Chapters don't close," I said. "They just stop being worth rereading." He nodded. "Still, I'm glad. You deserve some peace." "Peace feels strange," I said. "Like silence after a storm. You keep waiting for thunder that never comes." He looked at me carefully. "You're no Tempty, are you?" "No," I said. "Just done." He leaned back. "You sound older." "I feel older." His kids burst through the front door a few minutes later, laughing and shouting. The noise filled every corner of the house. I watched them chase each other, carefree and loud. Jacob smiled. "That sound better than therapy." "Maybe," I said. "It's proof the world moves on." He looked at me. "And you?" "I'm trying," he nodded. "That's enough." Later, I stood by the window while he helped his wife with dinner. The kids were outside, their laughter echoing across the yard. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the pull of the past. When I left, Jacob walked me to the door. "Don't disappear again," he said. "I won't," I said. "Maybe I've done enough disappearing for one lifetime." He smiled. "Good, come by next week. Bring that calm voice of yours. We could use balance around here." "I'll try," I said, stepping into the evening air. On the drive back, the city lights looked softer somehow, like they'd stopped competing with the darkness. I didn't rush home. For once, I didn't need to. When I reached the office the next morning, Mr. Bennett was waiting. He stood by the window, hands in his pockets, watching the skyline. "You're late," he said without turning. "I stopped pretending to race time," I replied. He smiled. "That's growth, or laziness," he chuckled. "You look different, lighter." "I think I ran out of things to hate," I said. "That's a start," he said. "How's Clara?" "She sent a message. Did you answer?" "No." "Good," he said softly. "Sometimes silence is the kindest reply." "I didn't do it to be kind." "You didn't have to," he said. "You just had to stop bleeding," I nodded. "I think I finally did." He studied me for a moment. "And Ryan?" "Gone." "Closure?" "No," I said. "Just quiet." He smiled faintly. "That's all karma really leaves behind. A whisper." I looked at him. "You believe in karma?" "I believe in balance," he said. "It always evens out, even if you don't get to see it." After he left, I walked to Ryan's old office. The door was still open. His desk empty except for a single pen left behind. I picked it up, twirled it in my hand, then placed it back exactly where it was. Lena appeared in the doorway. "You keeping it as a trophy?" "No," I said. "As a reminder of what? That power fades. But consequences don't," she smiled. "That's deep." "Or tired," I said. "Maybe both." She lingered a moment, then said, "You should take a break. The world won't collapse without you." "I might try that," I said. When she left, I sat in my chair facing the window. The city hummed below. Traffic, wind, life moving forward. Ryan's chair across from mine was still empty. I caught myself staring at it, and for the first time, I didn't feel anger or pride. Just a faint, strange warmth. Karma doesn't shout. She doesn't arrive with thunder or applause. She waits until you've stopped listening. Then she whispers, quiet and final. I leaned back, exhaled, and let that whisper fade into the stillness. The sky looked gray that morning, calm, heavy, uncertain. I was going through quarterly reports when my phone rang. The number wasn't saved, but I knew the voice before she even spoke. Ethan. It was soft, almost fragile. Clara. There was silence, then a breath. "It's been months," I noticed, I said quietly. "How are you?" She didn't answer right away. "Not good," I leaned back. "What happened?" Her voice broke. "It's Ryan." I closed my eyes. I didn't need to ask, but I did anyway. "What about him?" "He's gone." The words hung in the air, heavy and sharp. "Gone where?" Her silence told me everything. I swallowed. "When?" "Last night," she said. He couldn't take it anymore. The debts, the shame, the press, it was too much. I stared at the window, watching rain start to fall. "So he did it," she sobbed softly. I tried to stop him. I begged him to get help, but he wouldn't listen. He said he didn't deserve to live after what he'd done. My chest tightened. I didn't know what to feel. Anger, pity, relief, maybe all of it. "Where are you now?" I asked. "At the apartment," she whispered. "The police just left." I stayed silent, letting her breathe through tears. "I didn't know who else to call," she said. "You're the only one who knew him like I did." I almost laughed at that, but it came out as a sigh. I knew a version of him. "Not the one you married," she sniffled. "He talked about you, you know. A lot. What did he say? That you were stronger, smarter, that he'd always envied you." "Envy's a slow poison," I said. "He said you'd forgive him someday." "I never promised that." "I know," she said. But he believed it. Her voice cracked again. "He left a note," I hesitated. "For me?" "For both of us." I didn't answer. I didn't want to know what the dead had to say. She went on anyway. He wrote, "Tell Ethan I'm sorry for everything. Tell him I couldn't carry it anymore." I let the words sink in. I could almost hear Ryan's voice in them, broken, trembling, still trying to justify his fall. "Do you believe him?" she asked. "I believe he meant it," I said. "That doesn't make it enough." She let out a long breath. "I don't know what's left of me anymore." "You're still here," I said. "That's something? For what?" she whispered. Everything I touched fell apart, then stopped touching the past. She laughed bitterly. "You make it sound easy." "It's not," I said. "But it's the only thing that ever worked." "I keep thinking," she said slowly, "if I'd stayed with you, maybe none of this would have happened." "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe it would have been me who fell apart." "You wouldn't have," she said. "You're too strong." "Strength isn't what you think," I said. "Sometimes it's just the ability to keep standing while you're breaking." Her breathing trembled through the line. "Do you blame me for what happened to him?" I paused. "No, you don't?" "I don't blame anyone anymore," I said. "Blame just keeps the wound open." She went quiet. Then softly, "I wish I could think like you." "You can," I said. "You just have to stop trying to rewrite what already ended." She sniffled. "I thought calling you would help. Does it?" "No," she whispered. "But it feels real. Everything else feels like dust." "You'll get through it," I said. "You always do." "I don't want to," she said. "You do," I replied. "Otherwise you wouldn't have called." Another silence. I could hear rain hitting her window through the phone. "I still wear the ring," she said. "Whose?" "Yours," she whispered. "Not his." I found it in an old box last week, I swallowed. Why? Because it reminds me of when I didn't ruin everything. You can take it off now, I said. You don't need it anymore, she sobbed quietly. Do you still think of me? Sometimes, I said. When I forget not to. That's what you said the first night I called. I know. She exhaled shakily. Ethan, do you hate me? No, I said. I stopped hating you the day I stopped loving you, she cried harder. Then what am I to you now? A memory, I said. And memories fade when you let them. Her voice broke again. I wish I never left you, I closed my eyes. So do I said softly. But maybe that's why we needed to. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she whispered, You always know how to end things. It's the only thing I ever learned properly. I don't think I'll ever be okay again, she said. You will, I said. You just have to let time do its job. It's slower than karma, but gentler. She let out a faint laugh between tears. You sound like you finally made peace. Maybe I have. I'm glad, she said. Because someone should. Clara, I said. You need rest. I can't sleep, she whispered. Every time I close my eyes, I see him. Then stay awake, I said. But stay alive too. She took a trembling breath. Ethan, thank you. For what? For answering this time, I smiled faintly. Goodbye, Clara. Goodbye, she said. I won't call again. The line went dead. I placed the phone down slowly. The rain had stopped. The world outside was still, quiet, almost kind. For a while, I just sat there, staring at my reflection in the glass. There were lines around my eyes I hadn't noticed before. A tired calm. Jacob called later, asking if I wanted to come over for dinner. I said maybe. He laughed and said that was progress. Progress. Maybe that was all that was left now. I walked to the window, hands in my pockets, breathing in the silence. The city glowed faintly under the mist. Life moved on, as it always did. For the first time in years, I didn't feel haunted. I didn't feel angry. I didn't even feel empty. Just still, Ryan chose his path. Clara chose hers. And I finally chose mine. The storm was over.